Sean and I have decided that we needed to talk about some of the films of Clint Howard. Sean, like, why do you think you are such a big fan of Clint Howard?
Uh,
I assume you're a big fan.
what? One of the biggest.
What are
Well,
your general impressions? General impressions of Clint
he's just
Howard
one of the greatest actors ever,
of his generation or of ever?
probably ever. Can you name a better actor than Clint Howard?
I don't know. Philip Seymour Hoffman, maybe? Maybe.
He's up there
I feel like he's a better actor than Ron Howard. What do you think?
for my taste.
Yeah.
Nothing against Ron Howard.
Ron Howard's probably got the director talent, and Clint Howard has the acting talent.
That's right.
I think they both were really cute little kids, and they both grew up to be kind of awkward looking. I would
Hmm.
say as adults, I might give Ron Howard the edge for looks, but just barely.
Hmm.
What do
You
you
have
think?
interesting taste.
I do, I do. Well, my taste in men is a bit weird, obviously. I'm not saying I find them attractive. I'm just judging them in a straight man to man, manly kind of way. Like,
Mhm.
are they handsome? Not, but well, anyways, I've always been a big fan of Clint Howard, and so when
Mhm.
we did a podcast last Halloween, and I was we were supposed to talk about Evilspeak, starring Clint Howard, but there just wasn't enough time. We talked on and on and on, way too much, and then it got cut. And then I decided that I was like, well, we should still talk about Clint Howard. We'll just talk about more Clint Howard stuff. So we're going to talk about Evil Speak, starring Clint Howard. It's like I would consider it a star vehicle for Clint Howard. And then Rock and Roll High School. And then we're going to talk about what's the name of the Night Gallery episode, Sean?
The boy who predicted earthquakes.
Right. So I don't know the dates of Night Gallery. It was
I
a
think that one, I think it was 1971.
so these are
The-
all yeah. So 1971 episode of Night Gallery,
mhm.
the multi-episodic show, famous for being the Rod Serling show after Twilight Zone. But how would you describe Night Gallery, Sean, for people? Because it's a pretty obscure show now. How would you describe Night Gallery to people that have never seen it?
It's more horror and oriented than Twilight Zone.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
so oftentimes there will even be quite a few times they did H.P. Lovecraft stories, for instance. Yeah, I think it just trended more toward horror.
Hmm. Okay. I remember watching it as a kid, but I don't remember that much about it, other than the basic idea that the sort of like hook is that there are all these paintings in a gallery, right? And
Hmm. Yeah.
there's always a painting to sort of introduce the story. I
Mhm.
remember that, but I can't even remember a
Yeah,
single
all these
episode.
really amazing paintings.
Yeah,
Uh,
very 70s paintings, right?
mhm.
But anyway, so we're going to talk about those three things. So we're going to start off by talking about Rock and Roll High School, which is a movie that was introduced to me as a teenager by one of my brothers, which I find a bit odd since my brother Joe, not a Ramones fan, not I'm not even a fan of music, I would think at that point in his life. For some bizarre reason, he loved that movie when we were kids, and we rented it multiple times. Um, so I'm going to give you some fun facts about Rock and Roll High School. Uh, Released in 1979, probably executive producer Roger Corman, who people might know as like I think people have described him as the king of the B movies, but he was the executive producer, so it's kind of his baby. He didn't direct it or produce it, but he was the big shot, the executive producer. What I thought was interesting was looking up. some of the alternate titles for Rock and Roll High School. I guess it went through several rewrites, but I love that the initial title was Disco High. So they must have just gone through different genres of music.
I didn't know that.
Disco High, Heavy Metal Kids, and Girls Gym. Uh, and also, the Ramones were not the first choice. One of the bands they wanted was Cheap Trick. And I was trying to figure out
Whoa.
they might have had to call it Power Pop High School if Cheap Trick was the band. But thank God they cast the Ramones. And apparently, the Ramones were suggested by the guy that played the music teacher, Paul
Oh,
Bortel. Yeah,
Bartel?
Paul Bartel. I believe it was his suggestion to use the Ramones.
Oh, that's fun.
So, anyways, so thank God it wasn't. Thank God it didn't turn into Girls Gym, although that could have been interesting. Disco High, I don't know about that. Heavy
Yeah,
Metal
I
Kids.
wonder who would have who would have been the band in Disco High.
I don't know, maybe I have no idea. I can't even think of a disco band. Is there such thing as a disco band?
Sure. Chic,
Chic,
the
Chic,
Bee
Disco High
Gees.
starring Chic. So thank God that they settled on the Ramones because I just don't think it would have been as interesting without the Ramones. So something I was telling Sean earlier on was that when I initially watched this, I had no, as like, I don't know, probably 50, think I might have even been in like junior high or something. I had no idea who the Ramones were. And I think I actually thought they were a made up band just for the movie. So I feel like I've seen movies like that where they're, have a fake band or something like that. But so yeah, initially I didn't realize they were a real band. Later on, of course, I realized they were a great band. So basically, it's the story of a high school called Vince Lombardi High School, which is a great name for a high school, and in kind of like classic teenage B movie, the the school is under attack by teenagers being into rock music, specifically the Ramones, but specifically the leader of this is Riff Randall, played by PJ Souls, who I've only ever seen in the original Halloween.
And she was
I'm
in
sure she,
Carrie too,
oh yeah,
maybe.
she was in Carrie. Yeah, she was doing a lot of stuff in the 70s. So basically, she's like this crazy, out of control Ramones fan, world's number one Ramones fan, rebel,
The school's
incorrigible.
most obnoxious
Yeah,
Ramones fangirl.
I would call her incorrigible. She doesn't follow the rules. Doesn't care about anything but rock and roll. So anyway, so she is the number one fan, and I'm not doing the best job summarizing this plot. There's not much of a plot to this movie, to be honest with you. She wants to go see the Ramones and give them a song she wrote called Rock and Roll High School that she performs at the beginning of the movie in gym class with the
As an
entire,
act of rebellion.
yeah, as an act of rebellion. Well,
Because
everything
they're
with
being made to exercise to uh um the Alley Cat,
the
the
Alley
song
Cat.
The Alley Cat.
What's the Alley Cat song? I don't know what that is.
Uh
Why is it called Alley Cat?
Alley Cat by Bent Fabric, because when you hear it, you're just reminded instantly of an alley cat.
Oh, okay.
Cat walking down an alley, just strutting down the alley.
But instead, she plays her own. I believe she's always carrying around a boombox, or actually, I think it's even like an old-fashioned cassette tape player.
Hmm.
So she's always carrying around. So she brings, or I don't know, she replaces the tape in gym class with her own composition called Rock and Roll High School, which is why it's called Rock and Roll High School. And I guess her dream is to give it to the Ramones, and so she has to go see them. They're coming into town.
Hmm.
I assume it's LA. And then something happens. She can't go see the Ramones.
Well, she skips school for like three
Oh
days,
yeah, got it.
and
Yeah,
she
she waits
camps
in
out in
line.
front of the concert hall 3 days before tickets go on sale.
Right.
And she has a lounge chair, fold up lounge chair out there, and she has a milkman that delivers milk to her every day, and what else? Oh, she has a cardboard cutout of the
Oh yeah,
Ramones, and she pretends to
cardboard.
feed pizza to Joey.
Right. Pizza
Uh,
pizza plays a very big part in
yeah.
this movie, by the way.
Yeah, she has her friend Kate give the principal excuse notes every day.
Right,
Riff won't be to school at school today because her father died. Next day it's her mother died. Third day it's her goldfish died.
right.
And she's just breaking all the rules.
Yeah, that's what she does. Breaks rules.
Finally, though, she gets the tickets go on sale, but her alarm clock didn't go off.
Right.
Yeah, so someone has butted in line ahead of her. Uh, Angel Dust is her name.
Angel
Yeah,
dust. Right,
and they get in kind of a, pissing contest
right.
over who is the biggest Ramones fan. And but by and by, Riff does get her chance to buy tickets, and she buys 100 tickets for $1,000,
To give
which
to
I
the
found
whole,
odd.
to give to
Yeah,
the
and
whole
she takes them to
school.
school and she hands them out, including to the music teacher.
What a nice gesture of
Yeah,
kindness,
what was it, Mr. McGee? Play,
Mr.
yeah,
McKee.
Paul Bartel.
Right.
Yeah, and but then so she and her friend have their tickets taken away from them by the principal
Right.
as punishment.
Principal Togar,
Yeah, Principal
a
Togar.
mean, they're horrible, mean female principal.
Yeah, played by Mary Warnoff.
Right.
No.
Who's famous for being a technically the term for her is Warhol superstar, which I didn't know that until
And
recently.
she and Paul Bartel are both in this movie, and that's
Yeah.
just a few years before Eating Raoul.
Yeah. It blows my mind that she was like a Warhol person. She didn't strike me. I don't think I've ever seen a Warhol movie. I've seen
Mhm.
obviously his artwork and everything, but yeah, I guess she was a big Warhol superstar in all of his movies, and that's kind of I didn't know that obviously, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, you're right. She had been in that her and Paul Bartel have been in a lot of movies together, I guess. Eating Raoul, which I've seen a long time ago. Also, I didn't realize that she was in. I'm not. I'm not a big, huge punk hardcore fan, but apparently she was in that Suicidal Tendencies video that was
Oh,
really famous in the
really?
80s, where it's like just some guy being like, "I'm not going to school and I'm tired of people telling me what to do," and she plays the mom, the mean mom or whatever. But so
She's
I
no
guess
stranger to blistering rock.
yeah, she was one of those people that has been in a lot of was in a lot of stuff probably in the well, the Warhol stuff would be in the 60s.
Hmm.
And this movie was made in 1979,
Hmm.
and then a lot of those other movies she was in the 70s and 80s. So she had kind of a long, kind of weird career. But yeah, she uh kind of weird that a Warhol superstar would go on to play authoritarian figures later on in life. But anyways,
Well,
so
she's been brought to the school by the school board because the kids are so unruly
right,
that they cause the previous principal to go insane.
yep, and the
So
problem
she's
is,
there to
yeah,
specifically bust balls.
and the problem is rock and roll, which
Hmm.
is uh of course, by the late 70s, everybody knew. It's almost like a 1950s idea, right? That rock and roll would ruin kids, ruin them and make them do crazy things.
And
Of
they
course,
were right.
1979.
Yeah.
But anyways, you're right. Rock and roll is the corrupting influence, and Riff Randall must be stopped
At all costs.
at all
She's like the
costs.
George Washington
But
of this high school.
she will win in the end. We won't give the ending away. But I feel safe saying Riff Randall and the Ramones do win in the end. Um,
I'm not even sure if I remember the end. It gets
they
so
blow up the school.
turns into a
Whoops, I
fever
just
dream.
I
Yeah, but
just
that's
gave it
not
away.
it.
It's like
Oh,
it
like I
is a
said.
fever dream because it's like this create. It's almost like everything goes chaotic and the Ramones show up at school and they blow up the school.
Hmm.
Speaking of fever dreams, though, Sean,
Mhm.
one of the more memorable, disturbing scenes is Riff Randall, PJ Souls, has a fantasy
Oh,
sequence in her bedroom where, yeah, believe she is getting stoned and listening to
yeah.
her Ramones albums, and she
Right
begins,
after her tickets are confiscated from
right,
her.
yeah. So she's fantasizing because she's upset. She,
Flops down on her bed
yeah,
and pulls out a big doobie.
yeah. Starts
Lights
looking at
up.
her Ramones albums, and then she imagines Joey Ramone in her bedroom singing I guess you call it a love ballad, a Ramones
Hmm.
love ballad, which is there's not a lot of those, right? Called I Want You Around. So he's like serenading her in her bedroom,
Hmm.
and then it gets kind of progressively creepier because at one point she starts out wearing, I don't know, normal clothes, and then at some point she's in her underwear or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
And then my favorite part is she goes to take a shower, and the bass player's in the
Hmm.
shower, fully clothed in his leather jacket and blue jeans, and the water's running. And he's playing his
Yeah.
bass guitar. I assume ruined his bass guitar. So there's like an extended sex fantasy scene. It's still PG. This movie is PG, so it's not
Yeah.
out of control. But I
It's
definitely,
wholesome.
it's pretty wholesome for I mean, a sex fantasy involving Joey Ramone is kind of disturbing.
Yeah, she gets stoned instantly.
Yeah,
One puff, and all of a sudden Joey
yeah.
Ramone is sitting across the room in a chair singing to her.
I assume
Uh,
this probably scared many kids from that era to not smoke pot, knowing that there was the possibility that you might hallucinate Joey Ramone in your bedroom, serenading you.
Depends
Well,
on
what
the
if,
kid, I guess.
yeah. Well, obviously one of the great things about this movie is the music. Although you know what, my favorite, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say something very controversial. My favorite Moan song is still Pet Cemetery because I just love that lyric. I just love I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. I just think that's a great lyric.
Good song.
So that's my favorite Ramon song. There's still a lot of really great classic Ramon songs like Sheen is a Punk Rocker, Teenage Lobotomy,
Mhm.
all that good Ramon stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pet Cemetery wasn't very good because the Ramones weren't in it more.
Right. It would have been better if Joey
Hmm.
Ramone was in Pet. If the Ramones were in Pet Cemetery,
Yeah.
that would have been a great movie.
Taking the
Um,
cat to the burial ground, the Ramones
yeah.
could have been there singing.
Or maybe they could have buried Joey Ramone and he could come back from from the grave. Uh, Sean, what was your most memorable scene from this movie?
Ooh.
If you had to pick one.
Well, any of the scenes though with Clint Howard?
Yeah. So Clint Howard well, we're supposed to be talking about Clint Howard here.
I
Clint
know.
Howard's character, I would describe him as a fixer because basically his job is to procure things for the student body. And we first meet him, his office is in the boys' bathroom.
Yeah,
Uh,
I wasn't sure. Like I thought maybe he was supposed to be some kind of love guru or something, but
I would call him a fixer because he he like hooks people up with concert tickets, and then apparently he's kind of a pimp because basically he's trying to hook our hero. Actually, technically the hero, I guess, is would Vince Van Patten be the hero? Because there is the high school quarterback is trying to get together with Riff Randall, but he's too like all high school quarterbacks, he's too big of a dork. They have scenes where he's trying to win over these cool high school girls, and he always says something dumb to them. But anyways, technically, Clint Howard's character is a bit of a pimp because he does try to get Vince Van Patten Vince Van Patten hooked up with Riff Randall. Although
right. So yeah, Tom.
yeah,
Yeah, he he decides that he in his words he's got to get laid.
yeah,
Um and so he goes to see Clint Howard who what's Clint Howard's Eagle Bauer. He decides to go see Eagle Bauer
Eagle, I
in the
didn't realize.
men's room. So he butts his way to the front of the line. It's a
Right. He cuts in
huge
line.
cavernous boys' room
Right.
in the school, and there are like boys in there
Smoking.
smoking hookahs and all kinds of stuff. And
Just
he
like
butts
my
his
high
way to the front
school.
of the line.
Man, I can't
And
remember. I can't tell you how many times I went to my high school bathroom and there were hookahs.
yeah.
Hookahs in the bathroom.
hmm
Although
And
we
so
didn't
he
have a,
has an office in
yeah,
one of the stalls. I don't know.
I guess so. A very big stall.
Yeah, when they go in, it's a big room.
I thought maybe it
And
was
he
a
even has a
supply closet.
secretary.
Yeah, he has a
What's that?
secretary.
Yeah, he has a
You're right.
secretary.
He has a
Uh,
secretary.
an adult woman secretary
Right,
at a desk outside. Yeah, and Tom says it's an emergency. He's got to get in there to see Eagle Bauer immediately. And
right,
he he uh he, the he convinces her to let him straight in because he tells her that his problem is sexual in nature.
right.
So right there we know that Eagle Bauer isn't just some kind of love guru. He is a fixer or a godfather
Yeah.
like you're talking about.
Or a pimp, technically.
Yeah.
He's getting,
Probably has people killed
yeah.
all over town. I
I
don't
feel like
know.
maybe you could go to him and be like, "Oh, this my science teacher's bugging me," and you could be like, "Oh, I'll take that. I'll take care of that for you." Uh, so yeah, I almost call him Ron Howard. Clint Howard is the fixer in this movie.
Eagle
Uh,
Bauer.
Eagle Bauer, sorry. Uh, my other favorite scene in this movie is they're they're trying to, I guess maybe they're backstage. I mean, Riff Rendell finally gets in to see the Ramones backstage. I think backstage, and they're hanging out backstage with their manager. And this movie has some strange fixation on pizza. And they're like, they get a bunch of pizzas delivered, and they're like, "Yeah, man, it's pizza." And then their manager is like, "No, Joey, no pizza for you. You gotta eat healthy." And then he gives Joey Ramone a wheat germ, which for people younger than us who don't understand what
That's
wheat
right.
germ is.
Yeah, it's after the concert, and the manager
Yeah,
says, "No, no, Joey, you can't have pizza."
no pizza for you. Wheat germ is like a gross health food from
Yeah,
the
he's stuffing
70s.
dry handfuls of dry wheat germ
Yeah.
into Joey Ramone's mouth. And riboflavin and organic
Yeah.
alfalfa.
I'm not sure why Joey Ramone's not allowed to eat pizza.
I
I
don't
guess
know
for
either
medical reasons.
because Riff, I think that's the reason pizza is in the movie so much is because early on Riff says that one of the things she knows about Joey because she loves him so much is that he only eats pizza. And she loves the way he just slurps it down his throat or something like that.
I just like the basic idea of, and I really like Joey Ramone, but anybody getting a crush on Joey Ramone is so completely ridiculous that anyone would have the hots for him. I mean, I like him.
Well,
He's a good guy. He's dead,
Riff
right? I'm pretty
is
sure Joey Ramone's dead, right?
Riff, yeah, he is. Riff, I think Riff is a visionary. She's a
Right.
revolutionary.
Like she was definitely ahead of her time. That's what I
Yeah.
think so. She
hmm
appreciated the
She's an
Ramones.
anarchist.
She is anarchist.
hmm She's gonna
But
take
yeah,
the system down. She's gonna
uh,
take the matriarchy down.
she can take everything down, the whole
Uh-huh.
school. So I definitely remember that too when I was a kid watching it. The scene where Joey Ramone tries to eat the wheat germ on the pizza or something like that. But I definitely I hadn't watched this movie for a very long time, very very long time. So would you recommend this movie, Sean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And you said you hadn't.
I
You said you had never seen it
I
before.
inexplicably had never seen this movie.
Yeah, how is
And I
that
thought I had
possible?
seen a lot of clips, but I maybe a minute or something. Yeah, it was way better. I thought it was going to be good, but it was way better than I imagined it was going to be. It
That's
was
good.
insane.
So we both agree that Rock and Roll High School is a great movie, but my only complaint about this movie is there should have been more Clint Howard, which is a
Yeah.
good segue to our next movie, Evilspeak, because Evilspeak is nothing but Clint Howard. I would call it a, I'm calling it a star vehicle for Clint Howard. Although I don't think Clint Howard ever became a big star, but this was his big chance, I think. I'm not sure he's ever had it. Well, I think later on, maybe. I think he was in that movie Ice Cream Man, but that was a lot later on. But I believe this was a, I would call this a star vehicle. So I'll now give you fun facts about Evilspeak, Sean. Uh,
Please
actually, let's
do.
see. Rockmore High School was made in 1979 or released in 1979. Evilspeak was released in 1981. And Clint Howard plays a he plays he's going to a military school, but he's a reject for the what I consider a very odd reason that apparently he's bad at soccer. I don't know why at this military school it's so important to be good at soccer, but he sucks at soccer. So at the beginning of the movie, they're all playing soccer and he loses the game. And
Hmm.
apparently everybody, well, not everybody, but most people at the school hate Clint Howard's character. I wrote his name down. Stanley Cooper Smith.
Cooper
Everybody
Smith, yeah.
hates Stanley Cooper Smith
It's kind of
because
brutal.
yeah, they're bullying. It's like classic kind of 80s bullying going on, but as far as I could tell, it comes from him not being a good soccer. I'm not sure why a military academy is so concerned with soccer, but soccer is a big deal in the
So when
in,
he's on the soccer team,
yeah,
um, and he's not good at it, and
that was bad. Yeah.
but so they call them the soccer jocks in the movie.
Right.
And there's one in particular who is the leader of the group that bullies Clint Howard or Cooper Smith.
Right.
And yeah, the coach at one point says, "Now, you know that everybody on the team has to play in the
Right.
game. That's the rule. But if something were to happen to Cooper
Right.
Smith,
I think they say that uh, Clint Howard is a scholarship student. So that might be the other reason is that they're all rich kids. They say
but
multiple times,
he's an orphan too, though.
yeah, it's some
His
kind of weird
parents died in an
backstory.
automobile
Yeah.
accident.
He's
It's
like a they hate him because he's poor. In addition to being a bad soccer player. Hey, I played soccer in the 80s. I know. It's high stakes. High
these
stakes.
kids will bully him and do terrible things
Yeah.
to him, and then the teachers or priests or whoever will come upon the scene, and they'll also be mean
Yeah,
to Cooper Smith.
they all pick on him with a
It's
few
terrible.
exceptions, which I will actually only one person, two
Yeah,
people
yeah.
are nice to him, but I'll get to that. So basically
Hmm.
they're bullying, see if I can remember this. They're bullying Clint Howard and they do this prank where they mess with his alarm clock. So
Hmm.
he's late to class, and his punishment for being late to class is not detention or, I don't know, stay after class. He's forced to clean the basement of the school chapel. This not a normal
Yeah,
punishment for being tardy to class.
this cavernous
Right.
labyrinth of a
It's
basement.
giant. It kind of looks more like a dungeon.
Yeah,
It's like a giant
it's
dungeon in the basement of the chapel.
cobwebs everywhere.
They set him down there with like a broom and a
Uh-huh.
trash sack, and he stumbles across a like a I don't know like a secret room.
Hmm.
What that's a chap. I don't even know what you call it, but it's related. So at the very beginning at the movie, I should say, they introduced this character, Father Esteban, who's this. I'm not entirely clear how many years ago. For some reason, in my mind, it's like the 1600s. Anyways,
I think so. In the medieval times
yeah, he
of Spain,
gets
maybe?
excommunicated from Spain
Yeah.
for dabbling in Satanism or something, and I assume there was some kind of explanation for how he winds up in the basement of this military school in Los Angeles, but
Not that made it in the movie.
no, somehow that got cut. But Clint Howard's character, Stanley Cooper Smith, stumbles across Father Esteban's, I don't know, relics, burial chamber, something like that.
Seemingly every belonging that this
Yeah,
satanic man owned, this church decided they had to keep in their basement,
yeah, they had
including his tomb.
Yeah, they had everything, his tomb, his artifacts, and then I believe the most important thing is this like a book, right? some kind of book that's
Yeah,
very
like his
important.
evil diary,
His
maybe.
evil diary. It's evil.
Looks kind of like a Necronomicon, but it's just
Yeah.
his evil diary.
And it has a, if I remember correctly, it has like a jewel. This is very important. There's a jewel embedded
Oh,
in the middle of the book, which is important later on.
like on the cover.
Yeah, on the
Yeah,
cover.
center of the cover.
So Clint Howard, of course, gets obsessed with this book. And interesting that for 1981 that they that it's heavily computers are heavily involved. He decides to translate the book with a computer. I'm
He's a
still a
little bit of a
little,
computer genius.
yeah, he's a computer genius as well. That might be the other reason he's being bullied. But a weird thing that I'm still not entirely sure how this happens, but in the process of translating the diary of Father Esteban with the computer, somehow Father Esteban gets into the computer and starts to manipulate Clint Howard
Oh, because Clint
or Stanley. I gotta
Cooper,
stop.
sorry,
I'm gonna call
sorry,
him
Cooper
Stanley.
Smith. Yeah, Stanley Cooper Smith. He types he types the writing from the
Right.
book.
He's just translating it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Latin.
Yeah. Or
He
something. Yeah.
types it in and the computer translates it, tells him
Right.
everything. And it's all of the satanic stuff about all these satanic messages about how to bring Esteban back to life
Right.
and how to worship Satan and this, that, and the other.
So Clint Howard, I gotta stop calling him Clint Howard. Stanley Cooper Smith just gets like, this is what happens when you mess with the occult, Sean. You
Hmm.
get sucked in
Hmm.
bit by bit. But now I forgot to mention, in this basement of the chapel is another character. His name is Sarge, the
Oh yeah.
alcoholic janitor. Actually, this is the most frightening part of the basement to me is the janitor lives in the basement in
Hmm.
this tiny little room with his booze and his girly mags. He just hangs
That's
out in the basement and like bugs gets mad at Clint Howard. So another person who hates, I'm sorry, hates Stanley Cooper Smith. But that's also coming is important for later on. But so anyways, so Stanley starts wanting to do this ritual, I guess, to bring Father Esteban completely back. And then at some point, what happens is he has a meeting with, I believe, the principal, or I don't know what you call the head of a military academy, the principal, the Sarge, I don't know. And in this meeting, so he's carrying the diary around and he leaves it in the office. And the school secretary, I think her name is Miss Niedermeyer, finds the book and then she she decides she's going to keep the book because it has a jewel in the cover.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, so then Clint Howard, I can't
She
stop saying
keeps
that.
trying to pry it off
Yeah,
of the cover of the book.
Stanley Coopersmith is going crazy because he's lost his book. And then they have this scene, which is so now when I originally watched this movie, I should say I watched this originally as a like a 16-year-old and like 3 o'clock in the morning on cable TV in my parents' basement. That this scene is the only scene that stuck with me that I remembered here all these years later watching it. But the school secretary decides, I'm going to take Father Esteban's diary with the jewel embedded in it, and I'm going to take it home. So, kind of out of the blue, they follow her home to her apartment. I remember she
Mhm.
has a apartment on the campus of the military school,
Yeah,
and
seems like
she,
it.
yeah, she decides to try to pry the jewel off the diary.
Again.
And then in a very surreal scene, she's trying to pull, I think she's like trying to get it off. She can't get it off. And then she just decides to
Hmm.
make a fire in the fireplace and hang out in her lingerie in
Yeah,
front of the fire.
yeah, starts firing the fireplace and
She's like,
takes off
screw
all
it.
of her clothes,
Can't get this jewel off. I'm gonna just hang out in my lingerie in front of the fire.
as you
And
do.
as people often do when they get frustrated in the early 80s, it happened a lot. And I should mention there are these feral pigs on the campus of the military school. I'm not entirely sure why they're raising giant feral pigs on campus, but
Cooper Smith encountered them
right.
earlier in the film because one of his punishments is to
Oh yeah.
clean up the pigsty.
At the pigsty. I'm
And he
not,
learns just how dangerous those
yeah,
pigs are.
not
They're
sure.
giant swine.
Not sure why giant swine would be in a military school. Maybe for top secret military
They're attack
experiments.
swine.
Attack swine.
Before drones, they had attack
Yeah,
swine.
exactly. They
Hmm.
were being weaponized to
Yeah,
use.
weaponized attack swine.
But anyway, so she pisses off Esteban from trying to remove the jewel in the
Oh
diary. So,
yeah, yeah.
so as she's hanging out in front of the fire in her lingerie, she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna take a shower." So
Hmm.
she takes a shower and then she gets attacked by the giant feral pigs. And
Hmm.
pretty disturbing, gross scene.
Hmm.
They attack her and it's pretty gory too. Like they
They
pull out her.
devour her in the
Ugh,
while she's laying in the
yeah.
tub.
So this is
Very
probably
clean anyway. I mean,
yeah,
it all stays in the tub.
you're
It's
right. It's very
sort of
tidy.
yeah.
Her guts are remain in the tub. So this is
Mhm.
when you realize. So I'm going to go ahead and call this movie a pro Satanism movie because it does kind of work out that Stanley Cooper Smith does get revenge on everybody that wrongs him. So it's
Hmm.
technically saying that if you've got Satan on your side, it's not so bad. So she's the first person that he gets revenge on.
Hmm.
She gets attacked by the giant pigs. And then, or I should say, Stanley has two friends. He has one friend who's actually Dwayne Wayne from What's Happening. Anybody remembers that? You'd have to be
He's like
pretty
the
old.
manager of the soccer team, maybe
He's
something
just like
like
his
that.
friend, right?
Okay,
Just
he's always
randomly
hanging out.
is,
He's never playing
yeah.
soccer, but he's hanging out with
Yep.
the soccer team all the time.
Every once in a while, he makes a half-hearted attempt to stick up for Stanley, but it's pretty not. He's kind of like, "Come on, guys," but that's about it. He doesn't really do much. And then weirdly, there's a lot of alcoholic staff members at this military school. The cook takes pity on Stanley, and he like there's a scene where he like makes a mistake, and he's like, "Ah, I don't like." He's like, he gives him like a kind of a motivational speech about how these kids are jerks and they're just picking on you, and he
Hmm.
makes a mistake, and then he weirdly gives him a puppy. I don't know why. And then the cook starts drinking. He's an alcoholic as well. Sarge, the janitor, is also an alcoholic. So there's some kind of alcohol problem in this military school. So he's kind of Stanley's friend. And then he gives him the puppy. And then what happens is, I believe Stanley is getting closer to fulfilling this like spell to raise Father Esteban. Oh, I forgot to mention Father Esteban is played by Richard. What's his name? Richard Mole, also known as Bull from Night Court. So there's
I didn't know that.
multiple people from 80s sitcoms. Although I think What's Happening was in the 70s. Bull from Night Court plays Esteban. It's actually pretty scary in this. But anyways, Clint Howard's trying to gather up all the materials for this ritual to fully raise Esteban, or I don't know what you would call it, not raise him from the dead, but I don't
Hmm.
know, make him 100% real because he's still living in the computer or something. I don't really know. But anyway, so
It's like all of the translations the computer did caused maybe Esteban's soul to be in the
hmm,
computer. I'm going out on a
yeah,
limb here.
I'm a little
And
vague on how
the
he winds up
computer is
in the
always
computer.
coming to life and making all kinds of intense psychedelic
Yeah,
graphics.
yeah. There's a lot of pretty crazy early 80s. But yeah,
Hmm.
somehow he is in the computer. I was never quite sure
And Cooper
how.
Smith, yeah, as you were saying, Jeff, he's gathered everything that he needs, but the computer finally tells him one last thing is that he needs a blood
Right.
sacrifice, like
And then
innocent
it's,
blood, something like that.
yeah, that's the last ingredient. And then,
Mhm.
so Stanley spends all of his time in the basement with the puppy.
Hmm.
And then at one point, this very disturbing scene where Sarge, the alcoholic janitor, gets mad at Stanley because he accuses, I had to like double check my notes here, accuses him of stealing his crowbar. I guess Sarge
Oh.
is really attached to his crowbar,
Hmm.
and he literally threatens to sexually assault Stan. It's like I was pretty disturbed when I saw it. And so, as he's threatening Stanley, Esteban kind of comes to life, sort of, and takes revenge on Sarge. Not entirely sure how that happens. I guess just threatening Stanley brings him, I don't know, does something to Sarge, kills him.
Like a psychic
Yeah,
force
some kind of
comes
psychic thing.
out of the computer and
Right.
attacks Sarge.
Yeah, he attacks Sarge for threatening to sexually assault Stanley. Just a little
With his
disturbing.
crowbar.
Yeah, he's like, "You stole my crowbar. I told you to." And also, he's like, "You got a puppy down here. You got a
Hmm.
puppy down here, boy." He's like very creepy and disturbing. Anyways, he gets his comeuppance as well. So first, they got
He
Miss
threatens to murder
Niedermeyer.
the puppy as
Yeah,
well. It's
this
yeah.
is what you get when you mess with someone that's aligned with the forces of Satan in the
But
universe.
instead, the Esteban's poltergeist twists Sarge's neck
Yeah,
completely around and
you're right.
kills him.
You can't mess with Stanley. So
No.
then the bullies, because there's a group of bullies that are
Mhm.
out to bully Stanley, they one night come into the basement and they're going, I guess they see the computer and they see the like it's pretty funny, like the graphics are like they come downstairs and he's got his
Mhm.
computer set up, his monitor in the basement dungeon, whatever.
Yeah,
And
after
uh,
the Bikini Beauty
yeah, I
contest, they
forgot
find
there was some kind
Stanley's
of weird beauty
lair.
contest that I don't know why that was in the movie. But like literally, he leaves his computer on, and apparently there's no screen. I guess there were no screensavers in 1981, and he left his ritual recipe on the computer screen. And the bullies are like, "Oh my God!" They're looking at it, and they see that the missing ingredient in the spell is the blood of an innocent. So they see the puppy. I think I'm getting this right. They see the puppy, and they threaten. They attempt to kill the puppy, and that's when everything goes.
They do kill it,
Yeah, they do kill it. And it goes kind of,
sacrifice it on the altar.
in my mind, it reminded me a lot of like the end of Carrie. It's just like all of a sudden that's the final straw. And then it's like they finally cross the line with Stanley and I guess Father Esteban. And then it's like everybody gets wiped out. The bullies, everybody, the soccer coach, I guess the dean, I guess you call it dean of a
Hmm.
military academy. Everybody gets wiped out in various ways by the combined powers of Stanley and Esteban. And
Stanley becomes fully possessed,
right,
and
fully
he can
possessed.
levitate. He has a Esteban's sword,
Oh yeah, you're right.
and yeah, Cooper Smith levitates. He rises up through the hole in the floor from the basement that's blown into the floor above him.
Right.
Levitates up into the cathedral, and after him come the horde of minion swine,
Oh yeah,
and they
the
all
pigs.
and he flies to the cathedral, beheading all of the soccer jocks
Yeah, the
and
soccer guys get it.
all of the adults who bullied him as well.
Everybody gets it,
Hmm.
except I assume Dwayne Wayne and
Although
the cook.
the first one who dies is a priest who wasn't particularly nice to Cooper Smith,
Yeah, even the
and
priest won't stand up for him.
the crucified Christ statue hanging above comes to life and pops the nail out of his palm,
Yeah,
and it flies across the cathedral and right into the priest's forehead, killing him instantly.
I wonder if there are any other examples in horror movies of death by what would you call that?
Death by Christ.
Death by crucifixion nail. What would you call it?
Stigmatic
Stigmatic assault.
palm attack. Palm assault.
And then when it's all over, there's like a little epilogue, little text epilogue, where they say that Stanley is the only
Mhm.
survivor. There's actually they give it a name, like the name of the I forget what the name of the military school is, but like he's the only survivor of the blank school massacre, and he
Hmm.
currently resides in a mental asylum. So he's the only survivor. So I guess maybe Dwayne Wayne did get killed, and maybe the cook got. I don't know if the cook
Maybe.
survived.
And it also says that something to the effect that one day Cooper Smith will return.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming he got fully possessed by Father Esteban, so
Mhm.
they can't keep him locked up forever with all that
No, you
power.
can't keep that locked up.
Yeah. But
The
we never
movie
find out.
does also, it has excellent music.
Oh yeah. How would you describe the
You know,
music,
the most
Sean?
satanic kind of music you can imagine, kind of omen style
Yeah. It's very
chanting.
satanic. Early
Yeah, there'll be like
80s.
a four notes on a piano.
Yeah.
There, 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 there.
I'm gonna call it
Satanas!
early 80s
Cooper
satanic.
Smith! There,
Cooper
there,
Smith,
there, there, there.
Esteban.
And the bullies always called him Cooper Dick.
Oh, they
I can't believe we forgot to mention
I
that.
forgot about that. Cooper Dick. Those bullies.
They
I feel
were
like bullies were really bad in the 80s. I don't know why, but bullies,
the bullies in this movie deserved everything they got.
yeah,
Beheadings,
I didn't feel sorry for them at all. I would be
death
sad
by
if,
Helga Nigel Mortis.
yeah, I don't even care if they killed Dwayne Wayne because he didn't really stick up for Stanley. But if they killed the cook, I'd be a little upset because I felt like the cook was nice to him. But here are some fun facts about Evil Speak. So Evil Speak was this is a pretty obscure thing, but it was officially on the Video Nasties list, which is a thing from
Oh,
Britain in the 80s where a lot of horror movies got banned. It's kind of weird that they banned that one. It's not
maybe
that.
because it doesn't outright condemn
Yeah, that could be it. I did find it
all
to
of
be
the satanic
weirdly
happenings.
pro-satanic, which is a good segue into this shot that this movie had the official approval of Anton LaVey, which is pretty crazy.
I can believe that.
Yeah, so I think it was like weirdly pro. I was thinking like, well, how many movies have you seen? How many horror movies have you seen where a kid dabbling or somebody dabbling with the occult doesn't get, it doesn't turn out to be, well, it always turns out to be a bad thing, right? I mean, I don't think anyone, I'm trying to think of a movie where somebody like joined forces with evil and it didn't go badly. So this is weirdly
Hmm.
in my notes. I have like this is a weirdly pro Satanism movie. I'm not remotely surprised that Anton LaVey they must have screened it for him and he must have been like stamped it with his approval stamp approved.
Yeah, I guess he does get fully possessed and he then goes
Yeah,
to an asylum, but it also says that he'll return.
right.
And yeah, he gets revenge on everyone that hurt him.
Yeah, that's an interesting message. This movie because he does get revenge on everybody in the end.
It's a pretty upbeat ending.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, yeah, when I first watched this movie, I was like maybe 16. It was on cable a lot. I think my parents had Showtime, and I used to sneak out and watch it really in the middle of the night. And I was thinking that, now obviously rewatching it at my advanced age, it's not scary, but I think, you're 16, it's 3 o'clock in the morning in the basement. It's pretty scary. And that scene with the pigs attacking the school secretary, I think might have traumatized me a little bit as a teenage, as a 16-year-old. Um, but anyways, so now, Sean, let's talk about um, the episode of Night Gallery with Clint Howard. Remind me what it's called again? The boy who could
The
predict
boy who
earthquakes.
predicted earthquakes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Sean?
First episode of the second season of Night Gallery. Um, Clint Howard is was probably about 10 years old
Yeah, he's
when
really
this was
young.
made. A cute little kid.
Very cute.
He plays Herbie Bittman. He's at a television studio.
They want to give him his own show called the
Yeah.
Herbie Bittman
And
Show.
the I don't know the owner of the station. I don't know who the guy what this guy's role is, but he seems to be in authority,
Yeah.
and he is just can't believe that they're doing this. He's like, "What? What is this that you're? Why are you taping this? What's this kid? What can this kid do? We're going to give a
Right.
prime time show to this kid." And so then they tape the show, and little Herbie Bittman sits in the chair, and he very innocently talks to the camera about his fun day at school, and then he'll stop
Yeah.
and get serious and say something like, "That little girl that was lost last week, she's going to be found later today. So don't worry, she's going to be okay." Then I'll start talking again about some uh, cute things that he's been reading or whatever. And then it stops
Right.
again. "Oh, tomorrow there's going to be an earthquake in Los Angeles. Sorry to have to report this to you people. I hope you're not too worried." And so that's that. They end the taping, and the head honcho says, "This is trash. This is stupid. Throw the tape away. We're not doing this show." And then he goes and sits in a tiny theater by himself and starts to watch Island of Lost
Island
Souls
of
for some
Lost
reason.
Souls. Yeah, I don't understand why. I guess to relax, he watches the Island of Lost Souls, as we all do. We've had a stressful day
Yeah.
at the TV station.
Maybe he's really into human animal hybrids,
Yeah,
or he's a furry, I'm guessing.
I guess so.
Something, I don't know. But anyway, so uh, he's he's disturbed by his secretary coming into the theater.
Right,
And she says, uh, 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 I've been told that you have to watch something on TV. And he's like, "No, this is ridiculous. What's this all about?" And she says, "No, you have to watch it." And they bring a TV in and show him that the little girl that was lost was found,
right,
just as Herbie Bittman had said she would be. And and he says, "Well, get that little boy back here." And so
right,
maybe it seems like they jump forward in time, maybe about a year or so. And Herbie Bittman has a very popular show. People just love to watch it twice a week when it's on. And a woman, a doctor from a university comes, and she wants to hang out with Herbie while he's taping the show because her university is interested in learning more about ESP. So
right,
she asks Herbie, how does his power work? And he explains to her that he can't predict something unless he knows about it, unless he's learned about it and understands it. And also, he can't see for more than about 48 hours into the future. And so she's quite impressed with the little boy, and she's having a conversation with his grandfather while Herbie is getting set up in the background for his the taping of his biweekly show. They're about to go on the air, and his grandfather is suddenly called over to Herbie, and Herbie is disturbed. He doesn't want to go on air,
right.
and everyone's asking him what's wrong, and he says, I just don't want to go on air today. I just don't want to do this today. I want to go home." And the the owner of the station gets angry at him again and says, "You have to do this. You have to." No. And he finally gets control of himself and tells Herbie, "Well, you have to go on air because all of your fans will be worried if you don't go on." And Herbie agrees, "Okay, you're right." So he goes and he sits down in his chair and does the show and just talks for the whole show about boring things that's happened to him without making any
Right.
predictions. But at the very end of his show, he he looks at the camera and he says, tells the audience that tomorrow things are going to be different all over the world. Everything's going to change. There's going to be no more war,
Yeah, it kind of gives this weird
starvation.
description of
pestilence.
utopia, right?
Yeah. Uh,
Everyone's going to
and
be happy, and there'll be no more war and no more fighting.
I love Clint's acting here. It is really um it's kind of disturbing.
Yeah,
It's apocalyptic because
right,
you know something's not quite right.
right.
And he even talks about there's going to be kind of a beautiful garden all over the
He
world.
does talk about a beautiful garden.
I don't know. Do we want to say how it ends?
Sure, you could say it, Sean.
If you just want to watch this, don't
The
stop the
war.
tape and go forward one
Stop it.
minute, I guess.
Stop the tape.
Stop the tape.
Take the tape out of the VCR before we say this, okay?
It is a night gallery with a disturbing ending. Uh, so at home, he's asked, what was that all about? And the doctor is there too. And she says, Herbie, you told me that you can't see more than 48 hours into the future. How could you know about all
Yeah.
of those things? And he says, well, do you really want to know? Um, I I've known something bad was going to happen or something big was going to happen, but I didn't understand it until I read in my astronomy book about novas. And he said the sun is going to be bigger tomorrow. And
And then they show a bunch of footage of like cars driving
mhm.
in traffic and
Sounds of
smokestacks.
people
Yeah.
celebrating. I think the
Yeah.
word has gotten out that there's going to be worldwide peace tomorrow.
Right.
And back to Herbie, there's kind of an orange sunset glow
Yeah.
over everything. And grandfather, he tells his grandfather, "Don't be frightened. It'll be over instantly." And maybe after that, everything will just be better. The end.
It's never really explained where he gets his power though. I was kind of hoping he would pull like a Danny from The Shining and say it was the little boy who lived in his mouth.
It kind of had that quality.
Yeah. How do you
The
know
performance
this?
kind of had that quality.
How do you know this?
An
Herbie,
uncanny child.
the little boy lives in my mouth told me. Those two characters might be related. They both could tell the future, I
I could
guess,
see
right?
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe Herbie Bittman had The Shining.
that's possible. Yeah. They just needed Scatman Crothers to show up and
Yeah, shine on, Herbie, shine
tell him
on.
to keep shining on. Do you shine, Herbie? I
So
was
in
just
short,
like,
it's about a small child who has The Shining
yeah,
in a television
that's
show.
a good way to describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Clint Howard is so cute. He's such a cute little kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised that he was kind of a relatively famous child star. But then he got
Definitely.
pretty goofy looking. But then let's be honest, Ron Howard's pretty goofy looking too. He was a cute kid as well. There's some kind of weird curse in the Howard family where you're super cute kids and just
hmm
not kind of funky looking when you're older, although
hmm
they're all pretty successful.
I always thought Clint was pretty cool looking.
Oh
He's
yeah, I didn't
very
say it wasn't
different from
cool looking. It's
everybody
just
else.
a little funky looking. That's all. That's all I'm saying, Sean.
You ever notice he always looks like he has black eyeshadow or
Does he?
eyeliner on, black eyeliner, but
I didn't know that.
he doesn't. His
Hmm.
eyes just look that way. He inspired
Interesting.
a whole movement, I guess, of
Of pe-
dork male adults who wear eyeliner and are vice presidents.
He started the whole males wearing eyeliner trend. I had no idea, Sean. Wonder what other trends he started. I'm trying to think of times I've seen him in like the only time I've seen him in like current times is he had like a cameo on Arrested Development, which obviously I think it's produced by his brother. I don't think he directed it, but I don't think
Mhm.
I've seen him in anything modern day. Have you, Sean? I've only seen him in Arrested Development,
I
like one episode.
not since Arrested Development, but I think he has been in
I'm
things.
sure he's been in a bunch of
We just haven't seen them because
directed
they're not
video.
satanic enough for
Yeah.
us to watch them.
I assume he gets acting work on a regular basis still. But I still am thinking that, what could have been if Evilspeak had been a huge hit, like would Clint have been bigger than Ron? Because when did Ron Howard get really big? When he started
Andy
directing, maybe? I
Griffith
don't know.
Show?
What was that?
Andy Griffith Show?
Well, yeah, but that was when he was a child star.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm just
Oh,
imagining a universe where Clint
whoa.
Howard is the more famous of the Howard brothers in an alternate universe where Evilspeak is a huge hit.
Hmm.
Clint becomes a huge star, but that just
That's
didn't happen.
true.
I feel like it had the potential to be a star vehicle for Clint,
Mhm.
but I just don't think. I'm not
Yeah,
really
Evil
sure.
Speak should have been a like a series franchise.
Right.
There should
That
be
would have
like
been,
Evil Speak 21
yeah.
coming out right now.
They definitely left it open for a sequel by saying that
Hmm. It's not
uh
too late.
not too late. Um anyways, any final thoughts on Clint Howard?
Clint Howard rules.